Happy Friday! It's Mrs. Lehman, and yesterday I did not do a video, but today I wanted to focus on a few part 2 questions that were seen in the past few years on the New York State Grade 6 test. And this question is one that I think you guys would benefit from reviewing. It says, it is recommended that one fire extinguisher be available for every 6,000 square feet in a building. So one fire extinguisher for every 6,000 square feet. Write and solve an equation to determine X, the number of fire extinguishers needed for a building that has 135,000 square feet. All right, so it looks intimidating. It's not that bad. So you've got to figure out, what do you know? You know that every 6,000 square feet needs a fire extinguisher, right? So what you need to do is figure out, first of all, write the, write an equation to determine the number of fire extinguishers for a building that has, quite a large square footage here. So, excuse me. So for every 6,000 feet, we're going to need one, all right? So what you would do is you would say, okay, I know the total square footage, right? And we know that if we have 6,000 square feet, we would need one for every 6,000. So essentially you would multiply 6,000 times X to give us 135,000 fire extinguishers. So that's step one. Now you've got to go ahead and solve this. So probably realistically, I would have set this up for solving purposes with a proportion. If I were a sixth grader, I would have said, I know I need one fire extinguisher for every 6,000 square feet, right? And we want to scale that up to 135,000 square feet. So with a proportion, you want to make sure your categories line up and that everything's neatly organized and labeled here. So essentially, to get from this side, the completed side, to the incomplete side, you've got to figure out how many times 6,000 goes into 135,000, okay? So if you want to relate it back to this equation that you were asked to write, you're doing the same skill when you're isolating this variable I'm going to circle right now. That variable right there, X, we need to get by itself. So to get rid of this 6,000, we've got to do the inverse of multiplying to both sides. So the inverse of multiplying by 6,000 is to divide by 6,000. All right, now this is a part 2 question. You would actually get to use a calculator on this one. So I'll bring that up on the screen. Clear out this other thing we were working on. Okay, so if you have 1,000 or 135,000, another zero there, divided by 6,000, and always check your screen to make sure it matches what you wanted to type in, that equals 22.5. So 22.5 fire extinguishers. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never gone to Target and had them sell half a fire extinguisher. So you wouldn't want to do less fire extinguishers, right? So in this case, I would round that up. I would want to buy 23 fire extinguishers. So the line for this one's on the next page. But anyway, let's see. I think right there. So 23 fire extinguishers would be your answer. And again, just to review, you had to write and solve an equation. So you definitely need to have this part on there, but to kind of demonstrate how you get that, you can use a proportion. Essentially, you're doing the same math. You're taking 135,000, dividing it by 6,000. Anyway, you kind of set that up. But a lot of kids made the mistake when this question was initially asked on a state test because they didn't have a teacher there kind of, helping out. A lot of kids, well, not a lot, there were a handful of kids that took 135,000 and multiplied it by 6,000 And this is where I tell my students to check the reasonableness of answers, because if you take 135,000 and you multiply that by 6,000, let's just see how many fire extinguishers this building would need. Okay, so I'm having a hard time seeing this on here, but I think that says 810 million fire extinguishers for that building. That's where common sense and, you know, reasonableness should kind of wake you up and say, that doesn't seem right. But anyway, that's a question. Looks intimidating, not too bad when you actually dive into it. All right, this next question is talking about finding the area of a garden. So let's read this. It says the area of Brian's garden, or rectangular garden, which is important, in square feet can be found by using the expression 6 times the quantity 2x plus 5y. Use the distributive property to write an equivalent expression for the area of Brian's garden. So when it says write an equivalent expression, it means write an expression that would have the same value. So we've talked about the distributive property. I'm going to show the work on this one. I didn't give myself a lot of room here to show the work, so I'll do it up here at the top of the screen. So 6 times the quantity 2x plus 5y. What you have to do with that is make sure that number out in front is multiplied by all of the terms on the inside of the parentheses. So you'd multiply it by both 2x and by 5y. So we would say 6 times 2x is 12x. Plus, so you just write down whatever operations going on in between those, in this case addition, and then 6 times 5y is 30y. Okay, so that would be an equivalent expression, right? And it says use your equivalent expression to find the area of Brian's garden in square feet if x equals 3 and y equals 4. So you just have to plug in now. So start with your expression, 12x plus 30y. And then right here it tells us what to substitute. So 12x means 12 times x. So we're just plugging in a 3. So 12 times 3 plus 30 times 4. Right? So then you just follow order of operations, which means you do multiplication first. So you're going to get, in this case we only have multiplication and addition. So that's 36 plus 30 times 4. And we're going to do the next multiplication problem next, which would be 120. So 36 plus 120 would be 156 square feet, right? Square feet, yep. So 156 square feet is your answer. So again, just to recap, you need to know how to find equivalent expressions, which is a big multiple choice favorite of New York State test makers, and using the distributive property. So multiply that number on the outside times everything on the inside, and then you have to know that you cannot combine these two terms, because you cannot combine, meaning add or subtract x's with y's, okay? And down here you just plug in the numbers, substitute for the variable, then follow order of operations. So you have to know how to do a few different skills here, but nothing you guys can't handle. But anyway, thanks for watching. We have a few more opportunities for videos next week. Our New York State math test is on, for our district, is on Wednesday and Thursday. And then after that, we'll be starting Module 6. So again, please check out the other videos in this playlist. It's State Test Review. This was Review Session 13. And I have, obviously, 12 other ones that you can go ahead and watch to get ready. So thanks a lot. Don't forget to like